Welcome, everybody, to episode 25 of the Lifted, Lowered, and Confused podcast. Yeah. We got a special guest, D. Weezy, in the building. What's up?
What's up?
So, Weezy drives a bagged Passat, right?
Yeah, I have two.
Is that what that is, a
I have
Passat?
two vehicles. Yeah, I have a 2014 bagged Passat and a 2006 lower GMC.
There you go, man. How you like the German engineering?
I will tell you, the Passat is one of my favorite vehicles to drive. That was actually fun.
Yeah.
It's a TDI. I've got the EGR delete, the AdBlue delete, downpipe, exhaust back. It's on 20s and it's on air ride, and it's fun. Stage 2 tuned, transmission tuned. Future is going to be bigger turbo. It just hit 100,000 miles, so everything should be good on it.
You got quite a bit of goodies on that already. I didn't even know you had all that.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, no, it's a nice car.
It's fun.
I know it's a nice car. I just didn't know you had that.
0 to 60 is fun. I love fucking with people.
Dude, Weezy's a little slurred up this evening.
He is. He's a little inebriated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely. We just went to dinner, I found what they call the Jolly Rancher at Plaza Mexico in Venice.
He's over here like big ups to Plaza de Mexico.
Why don't you tell him how many ounces of vodka you just consumed, sir?
56 ounces of what they call a Jolly Rancher.
56. 56.
He slugged the 56. They probably watched you put that back and it was like...
Oh, man. I love it. After the week I've had, man, that's...
He got up like ain't nothing but chip and a dip.
I was like, well, if we were there going to be a little longer, I was going to go for a second one, which would have been 80 ounces, but we were leaving. So
we would have had to come pick you up.
I had to settle for the 16.
That's too much. Good Lord, man.
So you had a rough week?
Yeah, man. So,
what happened?
Man, so we got the Vegas trip coming up.
Yeah, there are 3 months.
So I'm trying to get all these ducks in a row and get make sure everything's right. So I messaged them out there. For about a media pass for us. I said, hey, my crew and myself were coming out, from Florida to cover the show. I've covered the Arizona show before. I've covered the Tampa show, Miami show, a couple other shows.
Yeah.
I told them work can be seen at Instagram, 3-Wheel Willie, all that stuff. Yeah,
your work speaks for itself.
So just inquiring about the media and press pass stuff, right? And dude hits me back. Says media pass is $250.
Have you had to pay for a media pass in any other shows?
Never.
No,
not even like an average fee. Nothing. Not a small fee.
No. Usually they let me in. They give me my pass, and it's all Gucci.
They let you in hours early or a day early, and for free.
Right.
Wow. Quick question.
Now yes.
Is this show related to the one that we went to in Phoenix, or is it a different?
It's a different show. It's a different show. But it's a lowrider sanctioned show. But it's the only lowrider sanctioned show, apparently, that I could find that has $250 press pass tickets, right? Jesus. But that's neither here nor there, right?
It gets better.
I have no
55.
I have no issue paying to get in, right? No, that's no problem. You want me to pay the entry fee? That's cool. The issue with me was, and I was emailing back and forth with this guy, and I was just getting frustrated because I was trying to ask questions, and for this $250, what does it get me, right? Gets me nothing.
Yeah.
It's
just taxation.
The hours are strictly during show hours.
So you don't get any free.
Can't get in early.
Nope.
So
you're gonna be battling the crowds the entire time.
That's it.
So what you're saying is you're paying $250 to carry a camera.
What I'm saying is I'm paying a $55 entry fee like everyone else.
Right.
And I'm paying $195 to be allowed to carry a camera.
To be allowed to carry a camera.
That's it.
I guess.
Oh, I was press at this show.
I guess. So I asked the guy. I literally asked the guy. I said, so are you going to be not letting people with cameras in? What are you going to do about people with phones?
Everybody and their mother with a phone.
Okay? Blah, blah, blah. He said.
Oh, we can't prohibit that.
He said phones aren't the issue. People with cameras for commercial purposes clearly are $250. I said, and I replied, I said, got it. Phone camera it is. So we're not going to be able to get you too much photography coverage, I guess.
We're gonna get
try to
coverage regardless. It's just not going to be with that extra flair.
It's not going to have that quality that I like.
Right.
We are going to try to do small videos and make little reels and stuff.
We got good.
But,
we got what,
it's
new
just-
iPhones and stuff. So
it's just frustrating, right? Because like I said,
absolutely.
and I told you, I've got no problems paying the entry fee, whatever. But you're not going to let me in even an hour early. You're not going to let me. You're not gonna,
Uninterrupted, unbattled
That's
photos.
what I said. That's what I
nothing.
said. I said uninterrupted photos, and he's like, I don't know what you mean by uninterrupted photos.
You should have responded
We're
with,
not
"Is this
gonna
your
interrupt
your
you."
first Lowrider show?" Or I remember my first Lowrider show.
Yeah.
Like-
So I told him
God.
by uninterrupted I mean a clear shot or video with nobody walking through it, not having to battle crowds, this and that.
Proper
And he's
press.
like, well, I don't know if anybody can any show can guarantee that. Well, if they can if you let you in early enough, you know. But it's whatever. It is what it is.
I don't know. It's hard nowadays.
Yeah, it's tough. So we're just gonna do the regular entry fee.
It's pretty
And
sad
they do.
nowadays that we have to float everything.
Everything.
build
Everything's
the
got to have
car,
some tax.
We
Everything.
build the car. We have to pay to get in. It's like
Yeah.
we're
It's
the ones
greed.
But
holding everything.
here's what's
It's like-
important: his quality and level of photos is going to promote
yeah, exactly. More shows.
the Vegas Super Show.
Exactly.
And in a beautiful light. And it's like, oh no, you got to pay to do that.
Oh,
like,
by
well,
the
you
way,
know what? We're not going to tag
use
you.
use your phone so that you get sucky ass photos and
They say because I'm going to use it for commercial use.
Yeah.
But they can use it for commercial use, right? Because you got to any time I've done a press pass, I've got to sign a waiver saying that they can use my pictures.
Whatever you want, yeah.
Right. Okay.
No problem.
Now they ain't getting tagged in diddly.
So they can get,
Exactly.
they can get
Exactly.
merchandise off of it. It's a good photo and everything. They can use
Right.
T-shirts, whatever.
Right.
Coverage of the show. People want to come
Yeah,
through
right.
and see
Exactly.
it.
And Lowrider Magazine, at least the social media side of it, has used my pictures before in their advertisements, or at least their on Instagram sharing my picture.
Or you
whatever,
got
posting it up,
celebrities like
whatever.
Snoop Dogg liking your pictures. You got Havoline Oil hitting you up, saying out here doing your thing with your photography and your podcast,
Yeah.
putting you on blast on their site, putting you on blast on their site, and you're not
It's
even
just-
representing
it's-
them.
It's frustrating.
Well, it's just like just like
is
this
what it
show.
is.
You guys can promote this show. I mean, now look at
That's the
instead
other
of
thing.
promoting it now.
That's the other
Now
thing.
you're bashing them
They have-
because it's like, look, I got $250 and I get nothing out of it, and you want me to pay that?
That's the other thing. They have another thing called a floater pass, where if you wanted to like we were planning on going and handing out hats and T-shirts,
Hats and T-shirts.
cards
Like,
and all
share,
kind of
subscribe
stuff.
in front of us. We hand you a
If you want to hand
$30
anything
T-shirt.
out inside
Wait,
that
wait.
convention center,
Okay, you don't have enough fabric for me, but hats.
hats.
Where's the
We'll
hat?
throw two together.
They're
We'll throw two together.
they're still it's all still getting made. It's all still getting
Baby,
made.
I'm an upholsterer. I will set you up.
I need size 10.
We know. Listen, you big and beautiful. You big body. You 4-door. It's okay. We'll set you up.
They're all still
size
getting made.
voluptuous.
But if you want to be on inside that convention floor just to hand stuff out, it's what $350
$350.
No,
to
shut up.
hand out
That's
merch.
crazy.
$350.
$350 to hand out merch. $250
Hand out.
to take pictures.
Or-
you're not even making any
or
money on that. You're just handing
just hand it out for free.
That's crazy.
Right. So
Or pay
we're
$55
at the after hops
and
and,
then
the
just hand
strip
it out
cruises.
anyways.
That's where we're going to be.
And that's where your
share-
camera is going to be
share,
too, where all the cool
100%.
stuff happens.
100%.
Like, share, subscribe, boom. And what sizes?
true.
What sizes are we bringing again? Did it start at medium and go to 2X, or did it start at large and go to 2X?
I think large to 2X.
Yeah, the lowrider community is
Representing some of the
They're
middle
is a
fat people.
robust community.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember,
we saw-
I don't remember exactly what the breakdown
The
is.
middle,
was
the middle
large.
large
Yes.
people. We
If-
call them fluffy.
If you're in Vegas and you want a T-shirt, you gotta like Instagram, or you gotta subscribe to Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you get a shirt.
And right here, we're going to put a picture up of the logo that's going to be on the shirt. Super classy. Got a nice knockoff on it. Good graphics. It's beautiful. These aren't cheap shirts. These are not. They're not. What's that?
No,
what's the
they're
cheap shirt where it's screen print?
Yeah, screen print.
It's not screen print.
I'm almost there.
These are. These are.
No, screen print is the good shirt.
That's the good one?
The iron on.
Okay, yeah, so it's not iron on. These are-
Press on.
These are
These are
professionally
screen
made
printed. These are screen
screen
printed.
print
Yeah.
shirts. Beautiful
quality.
logo.
Yeah, they're Gildan shirts.
Yeah,
whatever,
Gildan. Oh, yeah,
cotton.
Gildan's
Yeah,
top
these
quality.
are.
Nice shirts.
You go anywhere, these are what, roughly a $28-$30 shirt.
Oh, Gildan. Yeah, Gildan makes good. It's almost every single.
And we're going to be
t-shirt pattern,
passing
that's
out.
what they use.
We're going to be coming with a grip of these, and
Yeah.
we're going to be. You got to like, share, subscribe, and you get you a free shirt, and you rock it, and it's gonna It's part of the community, man. It's beautiful. We'll put a picture up right here what that looks like.
Yeah. But that's been my week, man. My week's just been dealing with that, trying to get all the ducks in a row, trying to get the Vegas trip lined up. But how's your week going?
Trent, how was your day today? What did you find out today about your truck?
Well, my week started off rough, to say the least. Obviously, we got Slamology coming up. Mm-hmm. Leaving next Thursday. What, 5 days? 4 days?
You going to get some content up there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
So, was running through everything, and all of a sudden, the brake controller for my trailer just cut out. It would work. It would light up the headlights, but the brakes for the trailer wouldn't actually activate. That's going to be an issue going through Tennessee with the mountains.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Something ain't right.
I don't need a 4,000-pound car and a 2,000-pound trailer pushing me down a mountain.
That's a missile without
So,
brake lights.
Went right into scramble mode, and I called the dealership that I bought it from, which was absolutely no help, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Mm-hmm. They couldn't get me in for 2 weeks to look at it. So ended up calling every dealership from Naples to Tampa. Found one dealership, Elder Ford, North Tampa, like 2 hours away from here.
This is a factory unit?
Yeah, factory unit.
Oh, shit.
So they, there you go, a little late on the button, but that's all right.
Oops, sorry. Excellent language.
It's the vodka talking.
It is.
Could be.
I'm sorry, did you say that Vato's talking?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So Elder Ford said, hey, we got a slot, bring it in tomorrow. So I drove the truck up there 2 days ago. Dropped it off after I got out of work, like 8 o'clock at night. They called me back the next day, said, hey, what's the problem? So I explained it to them in great detail. And the lady up there, I believe her name is Nicole. Awesome individual. She'd called me no less than like 10 times in the past 3 days, 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. So yesterday I get the phone call that says everything's got power to the back. The tech doesn't know why the brakes aren't actuating. Is there any way you could bring your trailer up to me? And I'm like, girl, I'm 2 hours away. She goes, oh, that's right. All right, let's see what we can do here. We'll figure something out. We'll give you a call back. So about an hour later, she calls me back. She's like, I got a weird request for you, if you're cool with it. I said, what you got? She goes, the main tech, he's intrigued by your truck. He wants to figure out what's going on with it. We don't have a trailer here. He has one at his house. Would you be okay if he takes your truck home for the night and does diagnostics on it at his house?
No kidding.
I said, yeah, absolutely. If it's going to get
What
the
kind of
truck
level
fixed,
of service is that?
do what you got to do. She goes, all right, cool. And I said, well, I got you on the phone. Y'all know I've had the transmission issue since day one of this truck.
Right.
Day one,
The,
how many?
the within spec.
Yeah.
30,000?
Is this the cuss word Ford thing
Yeah.
with Ford? Oh, God.
What is it? Less at that point, less than 30,000 miles, and your transmission bucks.
24,000 miles when
And
I
it
bought the truck.
bucks.
And it bucks.
Wow.
So I said, when the tech's driving it, I don't need y'all to fix it. But if third gear gives him any issues, I didn't even say what they were. I said, just have him document it in some capacity, because I've taken it to the dealership where I bought it 4 times now, and they've told me that it's in spec and kicked me out of the
It's the same thing that
dealership.
happened in the Colorados.
So
Same thing.
So she goes, all right, cool. They that was the end of the day yesterday, right? She calls me back 8 o'clock this morning, first thing this morning.
And you didn't coach that up. You just said if it has issues.
If it has issues, document it,
Okay.
right?
Wow.
So no, I'm not going to say the bad word.
I was ready.
Relax.
I'm ready.
He's over here.
So 8 o'clock this morning, I get a call. She goes, he got the truck to his house last night, was able to recreate the problem where the brakes weren't actually activating. We brought it back in, tore the thing off, and it appears that some of the connections behind the dash are corroded. And she goes, that's not covered by warranty usually, but since you've had such an issue with the dealership down there, I'm going to cover it under warranty. So we'll get this squared away for you. Yeah. I said, cool. And she goes, oh, about the transmission. She goes, the transmission is... And I was like, all right, what's going on? She goes, this is a known problem. We have a TBS out, which is, I forget what it stands for. The
Technical Bolton.
technical bolting.
Which hasn't been a recall yet, but it's
Right.
it's
She
on
goes,
the- it's on
this
the-
is a
yeah.
known problem
TSB,
with
technical
this year
bolting.
Ford, with this transmission. It needs to be tore down and resealed. Like there's a couple of valves that need to be changed. This is a well-known problem, and we can absolutely do that for you. I don't know why the dealership you bought it from is giving you a hard time.
A well-known problem.
Well-known
was
problem.
her words.
Yep.
And how many times have you brought this up to
No
the
less
other
than 4,
dealership?
at least 4.
Wow, man.
So she goes, here's the thing. If you want to schedule to bring it in when you get back from your trip, we will absolutely get you in, and we will get this squared away for you.
And all the dealerships around here, none of them would touch it.
I only took it to the one I bought it from because, figure.
Which one?
Jarrett. or
Good.
Charlotte County, the one there.
Matthew's good. Matthew Curry.
And they kept giving them the brush off.
They're booked out till September. So
Oh well, they are busy.
I couldn't
They
get in
kept
there
giving
for
them the
that
brush
one.
off with its inspect.
Sarasota Ford. That's actually a good dealership. That's where we bought my wife's
yeah,
car.
they were booked
are
out
awesome.
too. Like I said, Elder was the only one who get me in, and this Nicole lady was amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So then they called me back like 3 hours later. They're like, "Hey, did you put the fifth wheel on this truck?" I said, "No, it was like that when I bought it." They're like, "Okay, there's another issue." I said, "What's up?" She goes, "Whoever put the fifth wheel wiring kit in destroyed the wires going to the back. All that needs to be replaced."
Oh God.
And I said, "All right, no problem. It is what it is." She goes, "Do you want it wired for a fifth wheel or regular again?" I said, I don't need the fifth wheel." She's like, "Fifth wheel's $900 and some odd dollars, and the regular's like $300. But because it's been butchered,
Sold.
it's not under warranty." Like, I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. As long as you can get it working." I said, "Just do the regular one for now. If I upgrade to the fifth wheel after that, we'll switch up." She's like, "No problem. Give us a couple hours. Should be done." All right, cool. She called me back an hour and a half later. "Hey, the truck's done, rewired from the bumper or the dash all the way back." Wow. And she goes, "Because you've had such a hassle with the other dealership, we went ahead and covered the wiring too. So you don't have to pay for anything other than you had us do an oil change. Bring me $176 tomorrow and pick up your truck, and you're good."
Wow. That's
So-
awesome.
That kind of service, honestly, is
That's-
unheard of.
It's unheard of. So
these
shout out to
days.
Nicole. Shout out to Elder Ford in North Tampa. Like, you will get my business going forward if I ever buy another Ford. I probably won't, but if I do,
You're gonna probably got a used car department.
yeah. So like she did
Wow,
amazing.
man. That's
So-
awesome.
And the
That's
tech
awesome
too.
news,
The
dude.
tech was
Awesome
he was
news.
calling me. He was like, "Bro, like, who did the wiring?" I'm like,
Like he trying to be nice.
I don't know.
Did
He's
you
like-
touch this?
Please,
Did you touch
he was
this?
trying to be sensitive.
yeah,
Please don't tell
"This
me you
wiring
did this,
is."
right?
Yeah. He over here like, somebody come look at this. Somebody come look at this.
He said it was
This
bad.
is pictures of what not to do.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
corroded
That's
on a
janky.
2020 or
2020.
2020, and they're corroded
So,
in the dash.
needless to say, tomorrow at 4:30 in the morning,
30.
we're picking up Dean and Harlot and hauling
daughter?
ass to North Tampa. So
You bought that used?
yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, what the hell did they do with it
it was.
before that?
It looked like it was a
They sold it.
lawn.
That's what they did. They got it and they,
They were
sold
like,
it
yeah,
to
I
this
got rid of
guy.
the
Dude, it looked like it was a lawn service truck. Like,
truck
Okay,
for
so they just
sure.
didn't care.
dude,
They just got in
the
and
interior was
beat it up and
it was like, I shouldn't have bought it, but I needed something that could tow, and like it
the
stunk
budget.
like cigarette smoke. It was dirty as hell inside because they literally just brought it in.
But you cleaned it up though.
Oh, I cleaned the hell out of it,
Honestly,
so.
I didn't
Yeah,
even
it's a
know
good
because
looking
I've been in
truck,
it. That thing's like brand new now.
Like I
New.
did my magic on it. So.
Right, you did your magic. It looks like new to me, and it's got the towing capacity and it's got the power, but it don't mean diddly if it's chugging along and bucking.
Yeah.
Like
So it's a great engine, man. 1,000 foot-pound of torque. On that
Dude,
thing,
it can tow a house off the foundation
nothing
without,
beats the
without
7.3.
question.
Joe. I'm sorry, Ford screwed up when they got rid of that.
what's
What?
that?
7.3.
7.3?
7.3 was great.
Oh,
but
that's
this
like-
new,
isn't that like
I'm
a
telling you, this
unicorn?
new
That's
like
the
a
unicorn
unicorn of motors,
for
man.
Ford. It's like the Cummins for the 12 valve. The 12 valve
yeah.
Cummins. That's you can't go wrong with it.
Seems like every new truck's having transmission issues though, from
Well,
Ford
yeah,
to Dodge
it's-
to
I
Chevy.
know-
Shout,
It is.
shout out to
Every one of them.
Dodge.
I mean, I don't know if every single one of them had it, but I know the Colorado had a lot of problems. And I'm just saying the Colorado only because a friend of mine had the same thing. Same thing what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's a whole
It
GM
was
thing.
an issue. He took it back 3, 4, 5 times.
It's a torque converter issue
Yeah,
in
and
the
it was
GMs.
and they kept changing everything they said, and he just finally got rid of the truck.
Well,
because
the
it
funny
was
thing about
inside of it.
like I'm having such issues with the Ford dealership in Port Charlotte where I bought the truck. When I go up to Indiana, I'm staying with my boy Kurt, the owner of Deadbeat, and Kurt is big into the car scene up there. So we were talking the other day, and he's like, what are your issues coming up? And I told him, he's like, oh, your truck's bucking? Hold on a second. While I was on the phone with him, he called his buddy who's a Ford tech up there, and he goes, hey, what's your date of birth? I gave him my date of birth. He's like, you have an appointment on the 5th. We're going to fix your transmission.
While you're there,
While I'm there, like there's a Ford dealership in Indiana who's going to fix my truck when
Nice.
the dealership in Port Charlotte where I bought it is like, sorry about your luck.
that's pretty bad.
Like, it's awful.
You're in
That's
spec,
awful.
sir. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
So
That's
it's
nuts,
crazy,
man.
bro.
That's
So
nuts.
tip of the day, go up the road.
yeah, don't
That's it.
100%.
stay away from that.
Just like listen, it's just like
Charlotte
if you get a
County Ford, Jarrett
diagnosis,
Ford, whatever they're calling
a
themselves.
diagnosis that you don't like,
In life.
and you get
Second
a
opinions,
second
man.
and
Second
third
opinions.
opinion.
Yep.
That's what he's done. And now look, he found somebody.
Jarrett Ford, if it looks
Yeah.
like a duck and quacks like a duck,
It's a goose.
It's a goose. It's a dog. It's anything but a duck.
It's a turd, is what it is.
Is that a duck? Honk.
Well, I mean, it's just like in the medical field. It's called practicing medicine. Not everybody knows everything. So you get the right technician. The right technician says, you know what? I
You know that dude was under that
The
truck.
problem
He's
is,
like, looks like it's in
the
spec.
problem is when the manufacturer is sending out a bulletin to all Fords
That's
telling you,
pretty
hey,
bad. Yeah.
something is wrong.
By the way, but the TBS is when do they become a recall?
Matter of
Isn't after
fact,
so
it's
many
well
people
known.
complain, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of times it never becomes a recall, but it's
Something
it's
to be
tell
aware
you,
of.
hey, guess what? People are going to be coming in for this.
She worded that it's well known.
It's
You're
a
over here
well-known
well, it's not
issue.
well known
Well,
down
it's
here.
not well
Anytime-
known.
anytime
Can you
something
send the
becomes-
memo
Apparently
down to
Charlotte
Florida?
didn't get the memo.
Anytime something becomes a service
Hold on,
bulletin,
Charlotte,
it's
please.
well known.
So-
It's just like GMs were well known for the dashes cracking in the Silverados. They're
And they
well
were.
known for the torque converters going bad.
What was that? Like
Now,
the
I was
earlier-
I was wondering if like Charlotte County had so many of these crap transies where they've sent them out, and they're kind of getting pushback from the warranty department now, or something along those lines. Like I don't know why they would.
just keep pushing it through. It's probably, you never know what they could be getting told.
I mean, obviously,
Well,
they could,
anytime you get, I know this from experience. Anytime, well, not my experience, but experience from where I work. Anytime you get kickback from warranty, it's
has to be documented.
it's a clerical error. It's because you didn't document something right, you didn't write something right, you didn't. It's all
the numbers have to match.
Yeah, because
everything has to be crossed,
warranties
because
very
they're strict.
At least with General Motors, warranties very finicky. If you don't do it exactly how they want you to do it and write it exactly how they want you to write it, they'll kick it back because they don't want to pay for it.
What do they find loopholes over here?
100%, bro.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Nope.
So
It's-
Nobody's in the
and I-
business of giving stuff
Ford,
away.
Yeah,
for free.
Ford very
it
well
is.
may be the same way, and
100%.
But it's
Jarrett
also-
very well may not have somebody
also-
that's capable of doing it that way.
In the medical field, it's the same way. You want to go for a test, right? They're going to say, "Oh, that's not covered." But then you tell the doctor, "Say, well, I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
See, if you want me to do the test, you better write it up some other way." They code it a different way. Guess what? You get the test for free.
Yeah.
Same thing. I mean, it's just you have to code it the right way for GM to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, hey, that's on the silver lining and all that. That's good for you, man.
I'll be
Yeah,
excited
sure.
tomorrow.
Because how long has this battle been going on with your transmission?
I've had it since for how long have I had this truck? Like 7-8 months now.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And,
So at least 6 months you've been dealing with the.
Yeah, and I've had it in there 4 times. They kept it one time for 2 weeks because the engine light wouldn't
Just
go
to
off.
say, yeah, it's in spec.
Well, they had an issue with they had called the Ford engineers
Yeah.
because they couldn't get my engine light to go off because there was something with that the transmission has the DEF nonsense in it, all the sensors. They couldn't figure it out, so they literally called the Ford engineers,
Yeah.
who kind of coached them over the phone.
Okay.
And they said if the check engine light comes back on again, they're going to actually have to fly an engineer down here to get it
Jesus.
fixed. Like this
But
truck has been a nightmare
we gotta
since day
fly
one.
somebody in.
Well, I mean, I wonder if that's related to the chip shortage and stuff like that. Did they cut corners and
No,
something?
it-
What
there
did
was
they do,
something
you know?
boogered up with my truck.
Yeah,
Like,
did they do something
Yeah,
wrong?
start with
You
your
know?
towing package.
Well, I will say, when I got my Chevy, one thing I found out about is the 8-year warranty on your emissions. It's by federal law. Every car sold has to have an 8-year emissions warranty.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I bought my GMC in 07, and it was a year old, I had 15,000 miles on it, and I drove it for a little bit. At 36,000 miles,
Didn't
the
consider
Y pipe went out. The catalytic converters, they got clogged. And I'm like, shit. you know.
Really?
And it's like, that's like $1,000, or at the time it was probably a little bit more than that. Well, come to find out, I did a little bit of research, and luckily April worked at the dealership, and she did a little research.
Yeah.
And it's by federal law, you have to have an 8-year warranty on all emissions, so it got covered.
So you did your
Yeah.
due diligence.
So I went
on
to the
that.
dealership. I went to Darby on the island and walked in and was like, yeah, my truck's not running right, blah, blah, blah. The catalytic converters are bad. They didn't even say nothing. They literally brought the truck in, replaced them. I'm sitting there for like 2 hours going, what's going on? Like nobody said anything to me.
Yeah.
Then they come back out, hand me the keys. You're all set. I'm like, well, what happened? Oh, we replaced it. Oh, okay, cool. I'm like, see ya.
Everything.
Yeah, never been a problem since, So it's like that kind of stuff.
Good,
you know?
good.
I'll say this with the emission nonsense. As soon as my truck hits 60,001 miles, delete. Everything's coming off of it, bro.
See, I have
Delete.
the same truck. We have different transmissions. I
Yeah,
think.
you have the
So
6-speed. I got the 10-speed.
With the blue def is going to be blue done.
and
It's
I
gonna
lo-
be done,
And
baby.
I love it.
Blue
I love
done.
it.
Oh, it is the stupidest thing in the world. I'm
It's
sorry.
so-
It is. Well, I don't get into. I want to get into the chemistry and all that. But basically, what you're sending out with the def is worse than what you're sending
Yeah.
out without the def. It is just as bad.
You mean kind of like mining for mining for batteries?
yeah. It's
for
horrible.
battery-powered cars that are then,
I mean, it's horrible. I mean, it's
diesel
pick your
engines
poison
half
or
the time are
whatever. But
charging
there's
them.
been studies on it that the DEF doesn't do us any better than
No,
what
not at all.
than what you would have regular emissions.
Wow.
The diesels are more efficient and more clean than any gasoline engine.
Listen, the cowpea's got to go somewhere.
Sure.
That's all it is. That's
This
it
is all. I know we don't like to get political, but this is all people padding their pockets in
Yeah, of course.
in the government. 100%.
Yeah, we don't have to get too political, but that's facts.
You'll be amazed once you delete
facts.
all that stuff and get all that crap.
Oh, it's going to
out
run
of
like a
there.
great tape.
It's
I've had people who have significantly more money than me who buy the trucks, delete it, and they're like, "Dude, it runs."
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that
and
yet
that's
because
without
I
doing
need the
anything.
warranty for another
Yeah.
couple years.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
And that's just basically a modest tune, and just basically you're deleting the fact that you have the no more
I'll
DEF.
tell you this though:
Just that alone.
if you delete it and you go to trade it in, you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah.
I'll be all right.
Save all your stuff.
I'll save everything.
Save
You
everything.
giving a will answer? Be all right.
Yeah.
Make sure
For me,
it's- make sure
I have
it's
no plans
reversible.
on never trading the Passat in. I'm probably just gonna burn it up until it dies, and then
I can't tell you how many people come and want to sell me a truck or trade something into me, and I can't take it.
legally you
Just
can't.
cannot take it. Huh?
No.
I
Legally,
can't
it's
take
by-
it.
it's
I can
against the
take
law.
something in on trade, but I immediately have to wholesale it. I got to send it to the auction.
Really?
Technically, because
I can't legally sell it.
the emissions control has been removed.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. So, don't care though.
Listen, I don't either because I'm the same way. As soon as David's truck hits 60,001, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna make sure that I can reverse it.
I'm gonna need to corner your shop for a big ass exhaust pipe and some solenoids.
Oh God.
Just saying.
Well, we'll find some wall
Save
space.
room
that
on the
Dean
wall,
doesn't-
baby.
I
We'll
hate
put it
to
in
see
between the
it.
trunk, the trunk and the hood.
The
I hate
dimple in
to
the hood, the hood, everything.
I hate to see the size of yours, but I know when I came off the Passat, and I'm like, Jesus, I could run a drive shaft through the space
Golly.
that it took for the exhaust.
Peyton could crawl through my exhaust. 100%. He could.
There you go.
It is no crap
literally-
about yay big.
I know on the Passat
It's
it's about that
huge.
big.
Speaking about massive exhaust, I was under Corey Rand's Supra
Supra.
the other day.
Hey, what, he
I
texted
I
me.
stopped over there the
What?
other day.
He's
It's
ready to burn
beautiful.
that thing down?
Well,
No,
he's
not
dealing with
yet.
header issues. He spent a lot of
he-
money on full exhaust, and it came and it's like
Yeah.
an inch short, so it won't actually connect to the flange without the exhaust laying up against the floor, and it won't even connect to the flange. But while I was down there, I was able to put my fist and forearm straight through to the back,
yeah.
in the header. I'm like, golly.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah.
Wednesday night, I got this text from him. You want a Supra? Question mark. I'm about ready to push this bitch out of the garage and have a bonfire.
He says
He
that,
told
but
me,
dude, he's got
wait. He told me you said, I'll bring my truck.
I
We'll
said, I'll
make
bring
it
my
a
truck.
twofer."
We'll make it a big old bonfire.
He's got too much investment in that thing. But when it's done, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a beautiful car.
He's aggravated because he's at the finish line.
Well, he's
And there's parts that he's bought
You-
that
you-
are
you
not
know- if
generic.
you
They're
know
high
Corey-
dollar parts.
yeah, Corey,
And they're not fitting up
He
right.
goes to the extreme.
He does. He does.
If it's this, and you say, you know what, I can get by. No, I'm gonna go to the extreme. I'm gonna go here. You
I've
know?
never seen Rand do anything.
No, nothing's ever
especially
nothing-
with dollar amount half-ass.
half butt. Nothing can ever be half butt with Corey. It's to the extreme.
Listen, you've already said like 4 times, so you can just say half-ass at this point.
I mean, but I went over there, and it's a beautiful build.
Oh,
he's done an
it's
amazing
a legit
job.
true Supra right-hand
Yeah.
drive,
Yeah.
and he has.
That thing looks showroom fresh.
Oh,
He got
it's-
it
yeah, definitely.
repainted. The interior looks like it's never been sat in. The
Yeah,
bottom side of this vehicle is
and,
like
and everything about
so
that motor.
clean.
I mean, I know the dollar amount he spent on it. I already asked him. And he's like, I stopped counting.
Yeah,
He's like, I
he
stopped
told
counting.
me
It's
yeah.
a 6-figure car.
There's
100% of
there's
it.
a, there's, there's
he
a number he
could
told me.
have bought a factory American turbocharged Supra for the price he has in just the motor.
Yep.
Just the motor.
We pulled it out, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing with your truck and trailer today?" I'm like, "Nothing." Why? He's like,
Yeah.
"I need my engine bay painted, and obviously there's no motor in it." I said, "I'm on my way." So
Yeah.
we loaded it up, took it over to his brother, who sprayed, so it's all color matched.
Everything, yeah.
Everything, fenders,
Well, he was a
firewalls,
little
the whole
mad
9
too
yards,
because
so.
he bought it and then he drove it for like about a year. That was the whole point, and he bought the spare motor. But then it was like, okay, well, what do you do now? You got it built, but now he has to do all the extra stuff, right? You got to
Yeah.
do you got to put it in the car to take the measurements for this and take this, and now it's been down for a year.
He's dealt
and
with
he's like,
issues.
he's jonesing. He's at that point where he's like, I want to drive it, but I can't.
I'm
He's
the
dealt
same
with
way.
issues with
Listen,
the parts.
How many times have I said I'm going to sell this or burn this stupid town car to the ground because it's not on juice yet?
I don't
You
even
just-
talk about that.
I'm just
the
throwing
same
a temper
way.
tantrum though.
I'm the same
Let's be
way.
real.
But you got to remember too, he had a full harness that he spent. Again, I'm not at liberty to say how much he spent.
Yeah,
but he
I
had
don't
a
wanna
full
get into that.
wiring
It's not my
harness.
business.
He's
that
selling
he
a
bought.
harness if you need one, $1,200.
That's why he sold. He's now selling that harness. He bought another harness that was done correctly. The other place didn't cover their incorrect harness that they follied up on.
Oh wow.
And now the exhaust that he spent a very large dollar amount on is about an inch short. The flange doesn't connect to the V-band, and it's laying on the floor, the bottom of the floor, and it's still not about a quarter inch short of the V-band. So now he has to send back from header back the entire exhaust. He has to package it, ship it, get it looked at, figured out, and then sent back. So I can understand, like if I'm paying
Oh, he's paying
thousands
a
of
fortune.
dollars
Yeah.
for,
Top dollar.
for
He's top
items,
dollar.
I expect it to come ready to bolt on.
I'm sure that header exhaust is probably in the $2,000 to $3,000 range, somewhere around there. I would handcrafted.
I say
maybe
significantly
even more.
north of that.
Probably.
Because it came. It was the turbo and everything. It came.
'Cause I
it's
think he
significantly
even
north
went
of
bigger.
that.
I think in the headers he went a bigger size than normal.
Yeah.
They were all custom welded up and everything, just to get as much as he wants. He's gonna, with the turbo he has, probably around 1,000.
Yeah.
He was trying to do
That's
1,000
what
horsepower.
he's-
He
cars.
told me. I think
Oh, he can go more.
conservatively
But
he's going to be around
conservatively, yeah.
around 8.
He told me
The-
right
the-
around $1,000.
The turbo,
Now,
the
is
turbo,
that-
well,
is
no,
that-
the turbo that he has is around 1,000.
Right,
Is
right.
efficiency. Anything past that, you start breaking up because it just can't handle the flow. It starts
So
breaking
so
up.
1,000
Is
horsepower
efficiency.
at the crank.
Yeah, somewhere around
so
there.
he's
yeah.
going to be
So probably
6,
8, 9, something
On
like
his
that,
worst
somewhere around
day,
there.
800 to the wheels,
But
just
still,
blowing
I mean,
them off.
you know, twin clutch, twin disc clutch. I mean, it's built to the tilt. I mean, it'll. He's pure on
Hey,
pure
Peyton,
on street.
hand check.
You
I
know.
want to see your hands right now while we're talking about this. All right, just make sure.
Peyton, go ahead and say hi, baby. What's up? Give us a little hi. Oh, come on now.
Remember,
You wear
remember
headphones. You got to say hi.
Remember that Tiburon I had? I put a ceramic 6-puck stage 3 clutch in that
Oh,
thing
I remember
for
that.
no reason.
No,
Nothing.
I love it. That was like the fad back in the day. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going
If
to
you
6
drove-
buck. And that thing was horrible. Come on, man. Every time you went to take off, it was
No, it was actually relatively smooth. It was a spec clutch, but of course you had to get it to like $3,000. But
yeah,
it would
drop it.
it was
Basically, you were
fun.
dumping the clutch every time.
If you-
There's no
I
slipping
had it.
those.
I had it down pat.
You drove more than 30 minutes. Your leg was getting tired now, girl.
in traffic. If you were in
traffic,
traffic, yeah.
See, with my first 240, I went street, all street, full face clutch, spec, stage 2, so it can handle the power, but I can still slip it, and I didn't have a problem. Never had a problem. And that was my daily for a while.
No.
So I missed that car.
Yeah. But you got some nice rides. I didn't even know you had the truck, by the way, until you pulled up a few
that was
days
my
ago.
first one.
I did not know you had that truck. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
clean. That was a clean little ride, man.
It has
Yeah,
to.
that
Well,
thing
the front end you saw that was brand new. That's all brand new because of my wife.
Yeah, yeah. No, I looked at you. You rolled
All
up.
right,
I'm like,
go
who's this
on.
rolling up?
Elaborate. You have my attention.
Elaborate, yeah. All right, so she's not familiar with the whole driving of lowered vehicles.
Oh, no.
Parking curbs become a problem.
Yeah.
And
I feel a rash rim coming along.
The first time, no, it was actually fine. I don't get mad at her. I mean, it is what it is. I can fix it, right? I can redo it, whatever. So what happened was the first time is she put it into the ditch. And
Hold
of
up.
course-
Hold up. Did you say the first
First
time?
The first
Yes.
time. First time she was driving it and went into the ditch, and of course it was lowered, and now the bumper is going to. There's no way to get it out of the ditch without ripping something.
Right.
And the plastic is the first thing to go, right? So I'm like, whatever, just it's fine. So we had about 3 people in the back of the bed jumping on the bed. Now
Oh,
I had to. It was on 20s, so, and it's got just regular street tires. There's nothing knobby or anything, so it's just slipping. So we're jumping on the bed. We finally get it out of the thing. Rips the whole bumper.
I think we've all been there.
The bumper or the valance?
The valance, yeah.
Okay.
The valance. Well, on the GMC, it's a 2-piece. So the bumper itself is just a solid metal,
Right.
steel, or chrome, and then the bottom lower half is all the valance.
Okay.
So the whole valance got ripped off.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay, well, so I go back. I'm like, well, how many clips did you break? Well, of course,
All
like,
of the clips.
Probably
Everything.
on that first attempt,
Everything?
it was
Everything.
about 80% of them. So I'm like, okay, I only have to do a couple zip ties here. I'm like, okay, it's good. So then she's driving and she goes to the grocery store and she did it again. She hit the parking curb and she pulled it off. And I was like, honey, if you keep doing this, it's not going to be on there anymore. I have no more clips left. So at this time, it was about, I think it was, go past another time, but I think it was the 4th time she did it. She's at the grocery store And the guy was like, dude, your bumper, your bumper. She looks down, backs up, rips the whole entire bumper off, and looks down, and the guy's yelling at her, hey, your bumper, your bumper. That's okay, my husband will fix it. She gets it home. At this point, it is so mangled beyond anything I can do. I couldn't match it up to anything because it had been ripped so many times. At this point, every single hole was split. So all where the factory clips go in, I couldn't hold it on anymore. So I ripped it off for like 2 years. I didn't have a front end at all.
I think she was doing it on purpose.
She really didn't like that truck.
No.
So yeah, now I'm in the stages. I took the Passat down because I got to do. I'm doing some work to it, full front end rebuild, some other stuff too, and then stereo and everything. But while I'm doing that, I'm gonna try to start working on the truck a little bit more, bringing it back to life because it's been sitting for a long time.
Well, we're gonna bag that thing.
I like it static. I never really bagged that one. That was always gonna be a static truck.
But if your wife has the ability to lift up, it'll save you
That's
bumper.
true.
It'll save your bumper money.
But the future is the flex. I mean, she's always wanted the flex to be on air ride, and I told her, I said, if you drive the truck, you get used to not, being careful of what you hit.
Apparently, anything she drives needs to flex because it's going to be in a lot of wrecks.
You teach her how to.
Don't tell her that.
You teach her how to go over the
Yes.
speed bumps one at a time.
Yeah. So I've been trying to teach her. I'm like, when you hit certain things, you got to go at an angle. I said,
One at a time.
When you go.
He told
I
her
said,
this in tears.
of course. Yeah.
With his bumper under his arm.
He's like, all right, so listen.
It's kind of the same way when I tried to teach her how to drive a stick. It didn't go well. Did not go well.
I will say this: you are a loving, faithful husband.
The stick vehicle wasn't lowered too, was it?
No, well,
I say that's a double.
Technically, if you want to think about it, depends on what you think by lowered. When a fluffy fat man is in a Festiva, it's lowered.
When it's in a ditch, it's lowered.
So when I had my first 240, I needed something to get back and forth to work. So a buddy of mine, Walter, had a Ford Festiva, and he was using it for delivering pizzas and stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, he had blown the motor, and
It's a Ford Festiva, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
Inevitable. And so he had found another one as a donor, and it was mint condition. So I went up to him. I'm like, well, that's been sitting in the yard forever. I'm like, let me just buy both. I'm like, so I bought both for like $600. And in one weekend, I stripped both cars down and put one together. And that was my daily for a while. So I tried to teach her on that. It's the simplest car you could ever learn on. And she was getting it for like the first couple times, and then everything went out the window. And it's just like dropping the clutch, and I'm like, ah!
What's great is when you're showing somebody that, and then they get into traffic for the first time,
and
they start to panic.
Well, that's what happened. I'm like, she made it around. We were in the
Ooh,
parking
baby, if you
lot.
can't find them, grind them. It's okay.
We're in the parking lot. She makes it 2 or 3 times, and she's doing good. And I'm like, okay, now you're going to shift. She goes, shift. I'm like, yeah, you got to shift in the second gear.
He's like, honey, shift. You're doing 60. She's like, shift.
Motor just screaming.
Screaming at 5,500. He's like, would you shift? She's like, what do you mean shift?
So I teach her how to shift. She goes around a couple times, and then all of a sudden, like I said, it was like a blainness. Like she couldn't remember what she did the past 10 laps we did. We get to the stop sign, and all of a sudden, she just dumps the clutch, floors the gas
Can you bring
pedal.
her here next week? We have questions that we would actually like to encompass the entire episode around her.
I would fucking die. Don't worry about it.
Also, Ryan, I love you and Lainey, but things to think about when she wants to drive the Biscayne. I'm just saying. What? She's coming in hot. Ryan stood up. He's like,
when you throw stuff, make sure your aim is accurate. Innocent bystander.
Breaks more shit than I do.
Meanwhile, at this very time, I have my nephew.
I believe that.
Of 8 years old in the back seat. And he's yelling, do it again, do it again. Of course, do it again because we're just roasted fucking tires like it's nothing. Motor mounts are probably broken. I'm like, just turn it off, turn it off.
God, that is love. That is the whole new level of love.
Well, you know what? I just mentioned to them, the 24th, 15 years.
The dealership he brings it into.
Man.
Hey, congratulations, man.
15 years
The
married.
dealership he brings it into on the regular, they're like, did she drive it again? All right, bring it in. Bay 2.
Well, that was
Bay
one
2,
of the
baby.
reasons why I went with the automatic for the Passat, so she'd be able to drive it without hurting it.
What do you mean shift?
Fair enough.
I have to shift it?
It's like Jay and Silent Bob.
D Weezy, I want to thank you for coming on the show, buddy.
Oh, man.
It was a
was a
good
pleasure.
show. It was a good show. We had the good, the bad, and the ugly here, man. That was good time.
And the quiet, Peyton.
And the quiet.
Yeah, Peyton.
Elder Ford, I think your name's Nicole. You're awesome. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
There you
for
go.
real. Shout
There you
out.
go.
That's unheard of the way you're handling business. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
That's good.
For sure, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, folks, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Deuces.